Hey everybody, welcome to my favorite shitty movie. It's our 170th episode, and I'm very excited about it. We're talking about a movie called Ghost Voyage tonight, which is a sci-fi channel picture from 2008, back when the sci-fi channel spelled their name correctly. Now they're SYFY. Back then they were SCIFI, short for science fiction. But now they're sci-fi. So they can have movies about ghosts. But back when this movie came out, they were still calling it science fiction. It's not. It's supernatural horror set aboard a ship that has many, many long hallways, lots of hallways that characters have to go down. They have to go down the hallways and stuff happens and it's scary. But what's exciting about talking about Ghost Voyage tonight is our guest is actor PJ Marino. He's also a writer. And he will star in his upcoming movie, Captain Tsunami, which I'm personally very excited to see. I have not seen it yet, and I don't know why. I've not been given a special preview screening, but apparently I'm not good enough for PJ, but PJ is good enough for my favorite shitty movie, and he's here, and he's in the movie Ghost Voyage. In fact, if you go look it up, on Amazon Prime, the little thumbnail, it has PJ in it with his crazy ghost eyes. And we'll get into what that means later. But let me bring him on to the show so we can get into Ghost Voyage. Ladies and gentlemen, PJ Marino.
Hello.
He's got a little whiskey. Is that whiskey?
I do. I finished off this beautiful bottle that I had. I'm kind of sad.
Oh, no.
But this is the end. I will savor it.
Isn't that the worst when you come to the end of a bottle?
It's rare because I don't. Yeah, it takes me a while to get through a bottle.
Yeah, you don't drink a lot. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I only
want to doing it for my favorite shitty movie. So cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
Oh, that's good.
So actually, before we get into Ghost Voyage, tell us about Captain Tsunami. What can we look forward to here?
So this week was a very big week. We're all very excited because we got to a cut finally that we showed this to the sales agent that we really like. He wants to rep the movie, and we're probably going to have him rep it. And he loved it. So we're excited. We still need to add the sound mix, which we are working on this week. It's pretty much done. Mm-hmm. And then the composer has her. We're very excited about working with this young female composer. She's fantastic. So she's going to put her stuff in. She's going to send us her files, and then just a few VFX shots, and then we're pretty much ready to submit to festivals. So we have 2 that we're going to submit to very soon, hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, Toronto, one of them.
Congratulations. What's it about? Can you say what I know it's a mystery, so you can't give too much away, but what's a general thing that it's about?
Well, we're calling it a comic book mystery drama. It's a lot of emotion. It's very if it was on, when you see it on Netflix eventually at some point, it's going to say emotional drama mystery. I think that's what it'll say. But and then it'll fly by to 9,000 other movies, but but no. So it's basically it's simplest terms. It's about a family coming together, basically a group of misfits becoming a family.
Okay.
It's
within a mystery of some kind. Is it a
mystery?
Is it a murder mystery? Is it a theft mystery?
The young actress, played by Maddie McGraw from The Black Phone. At the opening of the movie, her mom has disappeared mysteriously. She doesn't know what happened to her, and she shows up at my door with a box with a big bag full of comic book drawings that her mom left her. Because I'm the guy she said can decipher everything in there and figure out where she is and what's going to happen to this young girl. So it's basically the story of this girl and what the mom did. Basically what happened to the mom. So, and then it's a lot of it's like Princess Bride where we cut to the adventure and the fantasy footage of the comic book. So that's what's really
fun. That's cool.
And we're hoping that sets us apart and makes it just super exciting to watch. So
yeah,
that's the effects. We have a lot of transitions and effects and artwork. So
transitions are everything. you know.
Transitions, sound effects, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the whole sound design thing, it's a big deal.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're excited about the
You'll
performances.
see later when we show the Anderson family reenactment that I didn't work too hard on the sound design.
Okay. All right.
I only have so
It's gonna
much.
be a small step down from the movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
I love Ghost Voyage, by the way. It's one of my favorite projects I've ever done, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny. A few weeks ago, like on this show, 170 episodes thus far. We've only really done this 3 times. One, we had Kurt Fuller on, and he was talking about No Holds Barred with
Nice.
Hulk Hogan that he played the bad guy in.
Awesome.
And that was his decision. And that was the first time we'd ever had it. It was hilarious. And he was, it was no holds barred as far as what he was dishing about, because he doesn't give a shit. I mean, Kurt Fuller, we all should be so lucky as to be that level of character actor. My God.
Yeah.
He's brilliant, and everyone wants to work with him because he's really fun to work with. So yeah. And then a couple of weeks ago, we did Devil in the Flesh 2, starring me. And that was fun. And then,
Awesome.
what's crazy about that is Hill and I just ran away to Palm Springs last weekend because we had to just get out. And while we were there, I ran into Richard Brandis, the producer of Devil in the Flesh 2, which was so weird. I was like, what? And we all looked older, but he recognized me too. So it worked out great. And
I still need to see it. I need to see it.
Oh yeah, you should see it. It's very fun.
Where is it playing?
Devil in the Flesh 2 is on Amazon Prime. Both, if you want to watch the first one so you're not lost.
Okay.
You're welcome to. They're both on Amazon Prime. And if you don't have Prime, they're on the Freebies and the Tubies and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely worth scoping out. But so here we're talking about Ghost Voyage, which came out, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2008.
Correct. January, like early in January that year.
Early January.
January 26th, I think it was. That's what
okay.
It was.
So a January movie that premieres on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's saying a lot.
But we shot it in 06 in December.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In the cold in Bulgaria.
In where was it?
Bulgaria and Sofia.
Right. Bulgaria. Yeah.
So much fun.
How was Bulgaria? How was it being there?
I loved it. I mean, I was a kid that hadn't really traveled much. I mean, since then I've traveled a little bit with my wife, with Tessa. But I never traveled internationally ever, except for like Montreal, if you want to count that. We drove up from Boston.
It counts.
It counts, but not even a plane, But yeah. But I shot a short film called The Dark Bar with a friend of mine. We wanted to work together, and he cast this actress, Natalie Avital, who is fantastic. And I didn't know her before that, and I didn't know she was also a casting director. So shooting that short film with her, next thing I know, like several months later, she calls me in for this Ghost Voyage, like 4 days before Thanksgiving. And I was already having a great year. I was booking everything. I was my best year still, maybe to this day.
I love
it. It was the end of the year. At the end, you're like, okay, it's November. But let's wrap it up. It's ready for Christmas break.
Yeah. And
then she calls me in, and the audition was basically like, you're looking at a ghost. You're now you're running. Now you're jumping, and then like maybe 4 or 5 lines. It was the easiest audition, and for some reason they liked me. They cast me, and they literally called the next day and was like, are you able to fly out like the day after Thanksgiving? I think I auditioned on the Monday, and I had to leave Friday for Bulgaria for like 6 weeks. 7 weeks, I think.
Oh wow! So
no, wait. Let me think. No, I'm sorry. It was like 3.5 weeks. That's what it was.
3.5 weeks.
So
you had to leave within a day of finding out you had to go.
It was like the Monday or Tuesday, and they said you have to leave Friday. So that's the best way to audition, boys and girls. If you're an aspiring actor, go when there's no time and they have to cast somebody. We'll just take this guy. No, but I mean, They did.
No, you're right. Those of us who get things going on any level often get the stuff that falls between the cracks. I did a show around the turn of the century that Dick Wolf was producing.
Mhm.
He was trying to get into the young people thing, so it was like a political show called DC.
Okay,
Um,
I remember DC. It aired like for like a year or two, right?
no, like for
Sure.
maybe 6 or 7 episodes,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they got canned. I mean, it didn't even have a full first season.
Was it in the airport? A lot of it?
No,
That's okay. I'm thinking
no,
of LAX, I think.
no. It's like,
Okay.
oh yeah, no, not that. No,
Sorry to
it's literally DC. It's about like young,
politics.
like lobbyist assistants
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. I was on an episode with Melissa McCarthy. Uh,
Oh,
we played
before everything,
softball.
right?
We played softball before she was famous,
Yeah.
and she's really funny.
I bet she was awesome. Yeah.
Uh, I didn't know who she was. But then when I auditioned for her, like years later, she's like, "How do I know you?" And I was like, because she's Melissa McCarthy, and I'm like, I don't know. And then she was like, "You told me a couple stories about eating hot dogs in commercials." And I was like, okay, so she actually remembers me,
That's
you know.
awesome.
And I was like, oh shit. Well, obviously, I did not get this part I was auditioning for. It was her and her husband. But I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit. And then but I was like, but also, it's an audition. So if someone comes at you with something like that, it's
go with
so
it.
easy to get stymied and not be cool. And I
Yeah, yeah.
totally was like,
You have to walk that line of being honest and not phony, but still go along with it. You can't be like, "No, I don't remember you,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry."
What the fuck are you talking about, Melissa
But you have to
McCarthy?
be, yeah, gracious
But
and
also, it was like when she said that about the hot dog stories, I was like, okay,
I
that
just know
I
you.
know what era that happened in.
Yeah.
But after the audition, I was in the parking garage and I was like, oh shit, it's fucking DC.
Oh,
And I
wow.
actually called the casting director and I was just, can you tell Melissa that it's DC? And apparently she texted me later. She's like, yeah, I went in and said it's DC. And she screamed, that's it.
That's hilarious.
Which is so funny to me. So yeah, so that was good. I didn't get the part though. I would have liked to have worked
Can't
with
get them all.
Melissa
Yeah.
McCarthy again. But Ghost Voyage,
There we
here.
are.
So where was this picture taken? Who are tell us? Go down the
So
line.
on the far left is Nicholas Irons. He plays the Russian Nikolai. Is it Nikolai?
Yeah, Nikolai. Yeah.
Next to him is Deanna Russo. She plays Serena.
Mhm.
That next to her is that dashingly handsome young man, me. And then Julie Berlin. She plays I forget her name in the show. What was her name in Ghost Voyage? I'm already forgetting.
I just called her Gold Digger.
Yeah. And then James Patrick Moran. He played
Uh-huh.
my sidekick Ronnie. And then Adrian Neal, who played Simon, I think his name was, right? Simon.
Yeah, the horny bullshit artist.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is like making up shit about making movies so he can get
And we
money.
got along like peas in a pod, man. They were such a great group. We had so much fun during that shoot.
It
I was
looks
at
like
one of
you
the
guys are all
restaurants.
really happy.
Yeah, we ate. I have like 4 of those pictures where we're just posing at different restaurants, but I didn't want to send you all of them. But
Right.
yeah, we just would go to restaurant. They were giving us per diem. We had all this cash. And
Yeah.
besides the fact that we mostly ate on set
You eat on set and then you're just
all
like you got money burning a hole in your pocket because there's so much per diem in
and
there.
the producers were so, I mean, I love these guys. They're called UFO. I think it's United Film Organization.
Mhm.
And they set up their shop in Bulgaria. They have a big studio there. They shoot all their. I haven't kept in touch with them lately. I think they're doing some Christmas movies now, which is interesting. But they did a lot. They would pump out these sci-fi movies all the time, and
Yeah.
they told my agent like I had to be convinced, but they told my agent because I knew they were struggling. They wanted to cast it quickly. They said, "Tell PJ it's going to be the best shoot he's ever been on. He's going to have the most fun. Sophia is awesome." And I was like, "Guys, I'm not going to say no.
It's
Yes."
fine.
And
It's
they
fine.
paid us really well. And I mean, it was amazing. And it was super fun. And
That's cool that they paid you well on a
we
low
did.
budget movie like this. You hear lots of horror stories about never actually getting paid.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I've been
especially with the Bulgarian productions of sci-fi. I've heard a lot of horror stories about
really,
they
yeah,
still
yeah.
owe me money.
I mean, they're in Bulgaria, but they have a Burbank like office too, but they just shoot
Right.
everything in Bulgaria, and they're all there.
Well, and it's like Charles Band, you know, that producer, the great. I love Charles Band and his movies, but he's definitely a shady producer.
Yeah.
So, like, he had his castle, I think it was in Bulgaria, some Eastern European country, that he would just use for a set for a lot of his horror movies. But a lot of the people who worked on those movies are still saying he still owes me money
Oh man.
for
Yeah,
that.
that's awful.
Yeah, so it's nice to hear that the Ghost Voyage people were taking
Yeah.
care of you.
I mean, we
You know?
just partied. I mean, we got along great. We were all in the same hotel. Antonio decided he didn't like the hotel. I
All right,
love
yeah, I got
Antonio.
here's
This-
my this is my
There he
first
is.
there, yeah.
He was I loved working with him, honestly. He was so nice. I mean, we got along great. But he just, he wanted a better hotel, I guess, and they said, "Okay, they put him in the step up one," but it was called the Kempinski, the one where we stayed,
Uh-huh.
and it has a different name now, I think. But for me, I was like, "It's a palace." I
Right.
mean, it was, it had everything. The breakfast buffet, it was great. That was like one of my I love breakfast buffets.
It's so funny though. If I was in Sabato Jr.'s shoes, I would have wanted to stay in the hotel with the rest of the cast.
Yes.
I would not want to be removed from them.
We always would like hang out in each other's rooms and just, hang out, play games and drink and just have fun. I mean, we're all
Yeah.
young-ish. I was even one of the older ones for that crew, but and oh, let me they had a big cheese table at the buffet. I just want to throw that in because that was divine.
Just nothing but cheese, all kinds of cheese.
They had everything, but they had different tables. They had a meat table, a cheese table, an omelet thing. They had everything. It was beautiful. I loved it. You can't get that now. You have to pay like an extra,
Paradise.
you
You're
know.
getting fed like that, and you get to make a movie.
And then I would work out. Once we switched to night shoots, I would go to the buffet. Then I would just squeeze the buffet right before it ended. Then I would work out. I would do my workauts
Yeah,
and
sure.
then
I get
just
your
work on my
exercise.
lines and then go to set. And then have like
Oh,
9 espressos during the night shoots until
oh yeah.
my teeth chattered. And then I would go to the tea
How
lattes.
many weeks? So you said
Almost a month.
the shoot started with day shoots, but then you shifted to night shoots.
So we started on day and then it went to nights. Yeah.
And how many weeks of it were night?
I think maybe the last 10 days or so, a week or 10.
So
I'm
it was
guessing it's been a while.
about half.
Yeah,
of-
maybe like half. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Night shoots.
It was cold. We were freezing. We would just all be huddling around the heaters in between takes and stuff because,
Mhm.
especially the women, God bless the woman. They had to, be more not dressed as warmly. At least I had on a jacket.
Yeah.
We
Oh
all
my
had
God.
jackets over the jackets in between takes. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You ever seen the movie This Is the End?
I did. Yeah. Fun.
Do you remember Craig Robinson like complaining about how hard it is to be an actor in that movie?
Vaguely. Yeah. I remember him in
That's
that.
what he's like. It's
Yeah.
like sometimes it's really cold and you have to act like it's warm, but it's too cold. Which is funny to me.
I know
Here's
we all
your
say that, but there it is.
here's your credit, which is one more. There's so many shots of creepy,
Hallways,
empty
yeah.
ship hallways.
They used every bit of that studio that they had. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking because you wrote a piece
Yeah.
where you were talking about the quality of the set, and in some places it was better than others. In some
Right.
places it was really flimsy.
Right.
And
I
that,
specifically talked about the 3 times I almost died.
yeah, it led to an accident, right?
Yes. It
But
was
I think it's important. Let's get into the narrative of it, and then you
Okay.
can give us the behind the scenes as we're going. But I think it's so important to highlight PJ Marino's credit
I believe
card.
fourth billing, I believe.
Yeah, fourth billing is
Pretty
pretty
good.
exciting,
Pretty good.
and it really is representative of what the movie is, which is it's so much of it is people walking down hallways.
It is. Well, when you're I mean, I think don't quote me, but I think they shot it for 2 million.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was like their going rate. They would bang. They had a system, 2 million, 2 million. I could be
2 million.
wrong. That's what I heard.
You
Um,
can do whatever you want with
right.
2 million.
So
Yeah.
so and they had special effects and whatever. I mean, it's still pretty low budget. It might sound like a lot to lay people, but 2 million
Right.
is pretty little when you're working on a sci-fi.
It's yeah, it's low. That's low budget.
We had fire play. We had um, stunts, all kinds of fun. So I mean, the one guy had to light himself on fire. That was a fun day. You see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Got to watch that.
I think I have a shot of that somewhere when we get to it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so all right. So one of the things I love about this movie is it starts with
Right.
you and your buddy Ronnie there asleep.
Yes. Yes. Let me say something about this shot.
Okay.
This stressed me out because it was like the opening. It's like the first thing you see in the movie. We're the
Right.
first ones to wake up, basically. And it stressed me out because I was like, I wanted to do something interesting, but I didn't want to push. So I'm like, how would I really wake up? And I did like, I don't know how many takes, 4 or 5 takes. And I think I was doing too much. And they were like, just don't worry, PJ, and then the one they kept, and I'm like, for the whole when it first aired, I was like, ugh, it's
Why
so
they
boring. Why did I do it like that? I hated what I did. I hated it for a long time. But let me say, in my defense, watching it again this week, I was like, it's not that bad.
No, your acting is not bad. I would be curious as to what you think you were doing bad when you woke up.
I just
I mean,
felt like I wanted to do something interesting, but
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I
just make
think
it real.
a lot of this cast, and I really watching this movie felt like the cast was very game,
Thank you.
including it's
Tony Bats.
yeah,
Call them
Antonio
Tony Bats.
Sabato Jr.
Yep.
Like he seemed game. Everybody seemed game.
Yeah.
You guys were involved. And it wasn't the direction. It didn't have a lot of flair, but it
Right.
was capable. But I think you just sort of, it was almost a disservice. Well, because the script was written for this budget,
Right.
right? So it was kind of tough what you guys were saddled with. Because I'm not joking when I say a lot of the movie is you guys walking down hallways, stopping in hallways, talking in hallways.
Yes.
So that's what you were working with as a cast.
Right.
And the fact that you stayed engaged despite that. Oh, it's another day shooting in the hallway. I mean, that could get a little bit tedious.
Yes, but we were so excited to be working on a feature, a TV movie,
Yeah.
and being in Bulgaria and having such fun. I mean, we were all so happy to be there and to be working. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the way I felt. I mean, we were talking about Devil in the Flesh 2 the other week. It is still one of my favorite career highs.
Where did you shoot it? Did you shoot it locally or somewhere else?
Yeah, it was all shot around LA and the valley. So, we did Shadow Hills and Sun Valley, and then
Yeah.
LA proper, that old veterans hospital that is used all the time.
Yeah,
That's
I think
just off
I've
the,
probably been to that one. Yeah,
yeah. I think if you've been in LA and worked in the last 30 years, you probably did something there at some point. I've done a
and when
couple.
you go there, you sometimes find like old sides from shows like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember going. I did a no budget movie, and we were at one of those hospitals, and we found sides from like what was the one with Jerry O'Connell, the sci-fi one? Sliders. We found like a Sliders sides. I'm like, oh, and it hadn't been on for a while, and I was like, wow, it's like how bizarre,
That is so bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So you guys wake up, and everybody, like, I couldn't get everybody's. I can only upload so many photos. So you guys wake up, and then you like walk into this room, and everybody else kind of wakes up.
There's Adrian. Yep.
And the cigarette guy.
Vlad. His name was Vlad. He was a local Bulgarian actor. He was great.
Yeah, he's very fun.
He and the junkie, they were both local Bulgarian.
Oh, okay.
They like
Oh
were
yeah,
known to do the best American
the
accents.
the
Yeah,
junkie.
that
Yeah,
his name is Cristo, and
Cristo.
they were both like, yeah, they like my American accent, so they cast him in everything. And if there's any um, decent little part, they usually get them. If you look at their IMDb's, like they probably have a lot of credits by now.
Yeah, there's this one guy in Canada who I always know if something's shot in Canada because this guy's in it. He's in like everything.
Yeah,
He's like a local
you have to
hire.
be a good actor. You got to be doing something right. You know.
No, I mean, what a great thing to be a big fish like that in a little pond. So
Yeah.
every outside production just automatically goes, yeah, we'll take that guy. What? Yeah, I don't. He's a genius. Whatever his name is. So all the characters are in there. It's a massive amount of characters introduced to you by you guys, really.
Yeah.
You and Ronnie are walking down the first of the movie's hallways, sort of waking people up and finding out what they're
Trying to
about.
steal all their belongings.
Yeah, exactly. And then this guy finally shows up
Yes,
and
Carrie.
says, "Welcome to the cruise. There's a bunch of rules." Who is that guy?
His name is Kerry. Oh my God, is it Tagawa? His last name?
That sounds
Yes.
right. Yeah.
He's been in tons of big movies. He's amazing.
Yeah,
He's
you
so good.
mentioned like Spielberg, who yeah, he's been in so many.
He's
Do you
been
know
in
what
tons. He's fantastic.
do you know what Spielberg movie he was in? I don't know.
I'm guessing. Didn't he do one? Was it? I'm guessing it's like Empire of the Sun or one of those. Is that Spielberg? Or
Yeah,
The
I
Last
think so.
Emperor? Which one is Spielberg?
The Last Emperor, yeah.
I'm guessing it's Last Emperor, but I don't remember which
Yeah,
one.
he's been in so many
Yeah,
things.
he's great. People like he's got a good fan base. Like people love his, and he's rightly so. He's fantastic. He was the only one while we were there. He's like, put on channel whatever tonight. I'm going to be on a talk show. He went on a local Bulgarian talk show while he was there, and he was only there for like maybe a week or so because he had a smaller part. They shot him out more quickly,
Uh-huh.
and we watched him. And first of all, he is like just the most interesting, one of the most interesting guys I've ever met. So he's on the talk show, and they had a translator, speaking in
Yeah.
Bulgarian, and he had on all white, this amazing white suit. I remember, and he comes in like he's a rock star. He was a rock star, and every time he showed up, he had something like interesting that I had never seen before, even on set. Like he came in one day with these shoes that were not shoes. They were like weird contraptions that had a base and then ties in a weird way. They were like not they were not a normal shoe. And we will all be like, Kerry, what are you wearing? And he's like, oh, these are my blah blah blah. You haven't heard of these? These are so much better for your back. You have to, he was that guy, and then he had these like herbal pills to help with colds one day. I think you may have read that in the story I wrote. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
He had this little thing with all these little pills, and a lot of us were getting like little sniffles and colds because of the weather. And we're all hanging out in a circle around like the crafty truck and whatever. And he's like, you guys want to try one of these? It'll help you stave off your colds. We're like, yeah, let's try. So he's passing around this thing, and people are popping those little herbal pills, So I guess to me, I see it, I pop it in my mouth, and I swallow it. And I'm like, ooh, that did not go down right, And everybody's like, really? Why? Everybody else had no problem. And he's like, I don't know why you're having trouble, but you shouldn't. And I'm like, I don't know. It just, when I swallowed it, it was really difficult. And then he gets his little container back and he goes, has anyone seen the cork? I ate the freaking cork. And
You
that's
swallowed
so
a cork whole.
a little cork. And it was, yeah. And that was so me. Like I would totally do something stupid like that. So anyway, but those are some of my memories of Kerry. Now, Kerry's role, I don't know if he even knows this, but I was told this. I'm assuming it's true. Before they cast him, they put the offer out to Steven Berkoff. And I thought he would have been very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he is, I'm sure, right? From
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop. And I was imagining him in that role. But Kerry was just perfect. Kerry was like, he just brought that. He just felt like that guy,
Either of those guys it could work, yeah.
Yeah,
But this is great,
Yeah.
and you only need a couple days with him to show up, and it works.
Yeah.
He's fun.
Nice guy.
Oh, that's great
I
to
want to
hear.
work with him again. Kerry, let's do something, please.
Yeah, come on, Carrie.
Come on,
Call
universe.
PJ, god damn it. So smoking guy, so we have our first death.
Yeah.
And this guy goes out to have a smoke.
No smoking.
Uh,
That's what he says at the end, Carrie. Oh, and don't forget, and I almost forgot, no smoking.
no
Yeah,
smoking. Yeah,
yeah.
don't smoke. So he goes out for a smoke, and he's the
Smoke.
first.
It's a recurring theme.
Yeah, he's the first guy to die.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then his
the
beautiful, grandiose death by the smoke ghost.
there. Yeah,
There it is. And then
yeah.
I
It
knew, and his swirling down the barrel, the bowl of hell. There it is.
it's it's pretty great sci-fi channel effects,
It
and
is.
by that I mean it's bad,
It's bad.
but
It's bad. But
but I
when it's
appreciate it in this movie because they're like, we're going over the top with this thing, so here you go.
and
And
the director they hired, a wonderful guy named James Oxford. I'm not positive, but I think he worked on a lot of the effects because his background was in special effects, not directing. This was his first directorial uh,
mhm,
effort. So
mhm.
I'm looking for the word. So he was very excited to be directing a movie for the first time, and he was a great guy. He did a great job. But I think
Did
they
he,
hired him because I think they probably got a deal. He probably did some of the effects for them.
so he was a digital effects guy.
He's worked on like really big movies over the years. I haven't looked him up lately. I haven't seen what he's been working on. But I remember at the time he had already just come off like Superman Returns or something. Like he was working on some big movies,
Well,
doing
that's
digital stuff. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
yeah.
But
I'm
well,
sure he had a smaller budget on this than Superman Returns.
looks better than anything in Superman Returns. I'm not even kidding.
I know.
Uh
Love that movie. Watch it. Watch it. I know people.
yeah.
Some of my Twitter friends, they love Superman Returns. One in particular. If he's probably not watching this, but I'm sure he'll know I'm talking about him. It's like
All
his
right.
favorite Superman.
Hi, Superman Returns. Is it Brandon Ruth? Um,
He was the guy. It was his first movie. Yeah.
he's Superman. Poor guy. It's
He's
a
a good
bummer.
Superman. He was a good Superman.
He was
I didn't.
fine.
I didn't like the movie either, for what it's worth. But
He was fine. He was fine.
yeah,
Um, no, there's no filling Christopher Reeve's shoes.
yeah,
It's not been done even close, and it
really.
never will be. It's that they should have left Superman there,
Well, they gotta
cinematically
make their money,
speaking.
man. They make their money.
Yeah, yeah, no, money's
They almost
important.
had Cage.
Yeah. So,
Kevin
so
Cage.
anyway, this movie follows, kind of the classic, I would say, slasher structure. Even though it's ghosts, it's like it's episodic, and you get a series of deaths, and it also works like uh, the '70s Tales from the Crypt movie. Did you ever see that?
Wasn't it in the early '80s, that one? Or
No, it was in the
I'm thinking of Freak Show.
'70s.
I'm thinking of Freak Show. I haven't seen the Tales from the Crypt from the '70s.
Yeah, that's really fun. But that's like an anthology, like Creepshow.
Right.
But basically, the stories are interwoven by these people who are on their way to hell, like learning why they're going to hell.
Yep. Yep.
And it sort of reminded me of this. Like, this is like, instead of doing it as an anthology, they wind all these stories together in one narrative, but everybody's got their stories.
Right.
And everybody's got their problems. And I think one of the first ones we deal with after the smoker guy, because the smokers die first. Die first in New America.
Ghost Voyage was sort of ahead of his time with this killing the smokers first, because
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
that.
when did Rennie Harlan's Mindhunters come out? I think late 90s, early aughts, maybe like
Okay,
2001. It beat you a little bit.
okay.
And that was a good smoker death because they laced the cigarettes with like acid. So when she smoked it, her like chest like completely burned open.
Oh,
Whew, it's pretty
that
rough.
sounds horrific.
Yeah, these Rob Reiner, these are the movies that he wants to see about smoking. But yeah, but then smoking's bad, but what's worse?
Drugs.
Drugs.
Heroin.
Heroin, which is almost as addictive as nicotine. And this guy is doing it. He's into it, and there's a scene with you and Ronnie where you're like, "Hey, what are you hiding?"
Yeah, we're looking to grab something, whatever we can sell or do.
Yeah, you were like, and you approach him about heroin, like, not. So, are you a user? And you say this, I think. Are you a user? or do you also sell?
Yep.
And he's like, oh, well, both. And you're like, all right. He's like, do you want to buy any? And you're like, nope. So, and this one goes on for a while you were sort of walking around the ship with this heroin guy and then sometimes the Russian guy, and it's back and forth. But then ultimately,
one of my favorite, I improv a line in the scene. I'm so happy they kept it.
What was it?
Cause we went back to do ADR after we shot it in Burbank, we did ADR. And the scene where we're leaving after we see that there's nothing in that cooler that we could see. He saw a ghost, but we didn't see anything. And then as we're leaving, I say, age before ugly.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever heard before, but I'm like, that's funny.
No, that was great. I totally remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an improv line. That's so great. Yeah. It's funny because when you did it, I was like, whoa, they wrote that. Good job.
They did not.
They did not write that. That was PJ. Of course it was. And then there's this. This is where you're coming. Oh, we have a behind the scenes of you on this set, right?
Yep.
So they're coming. What is this? It's like the heart of the ship or something?
Yeah, it's just like the main area, I guess, with all the scaffolding, it goes on from one. Yeah, it's a long.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what part of the ship it is, but it's impressive.
Yeah, it's just the bridge. Inside the interior bridge. I don't know what you'd call it.
Yeah, I don't either.
There I am.
There you are on the set, and there's like a PA or something down there.
Yeah. One of the assistant directors or something.
That's pretty awesome. How did it feel? Was it an exciting set?
It was cool. I mean, it was very big. It's a big warehouse, and they had lots of little nooks and crannies and lots of rooms, and it was awesome. It was fun. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
I almost died a few times, but other than that, I loved it.
You almost died. Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But we have so I'm not sure. We do have an Anderson family reenactment. I think it comes around here somewhere. I can't remember if it comes after Heroin Guy gets it or before.
I'm so excited. I don't know what you've done, so I'm gonna.
I think it's like rather early on, and it's you and Ronnie, sort of walking on the deck of the ship. I'll just show it to you. And you can tell me where it shows up in the movie, but I'm pretty sure it's before, like right before where we're at right now.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Hello, New Jersey, I'm here and I love you. Will you shut up?
Where is everybody?
Can't believe we're in the middle of the frickin' ocean. At least here we can't get caught for that last job.
Don't start with that again. We were told that building was empty.
Before we torched it good.
That landlord should be worried about doing time, not us. What's this?
What is it?
It's a guy who left the smoke.
Somebody had thrown him overboard?
I don't know. Come on. Come on, Ronnie.
Come on, Ronnie.
The dialogue, man.
Oh my gosh. It's special. It's great.
They did a great job. They were awesome.
Yeah. Hillary was like, "Should I play PJ?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." She's all right. So,
I'm honored.
yeah,
Honored.
we've got. It's pretty great. If Hillary plays you, then you've made it. You have made it.
I can quit right now.
Yeah, you can. It's done. I tried to get. There's only so many photos I can upload. I must have gotten more than 100 photos. I was like constantly shooting.
Yeah.
While watching this movie, but I wanted to get some. Like, you can't really tell how bad these establishing effect shots are by stills, because in stills that looks kind of awesome. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh no, that's good. They took a minute to have like this CGI ship with a bunch of containers on it, and it looks fucked up. And I like that. So, and there a lot of transitions are the ship, and the ocean squalling. So then so we're like, the narrative, such as it is, I mean, this is what it is. It's people have bad elements of their characters. They've sinned. It's like Tales from the Crypt, and they're all getting punished for it. Tested and punished, mostly punished, but the two leads are getting tested. I think all you other characters were meant to die in a test for these other fools. So we have these two.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. There's a lot of nice shots in this movie, actually. It's just the problem is they're all shots in hallways of a ship. And at a certain point, it's like, what do we do to get to make this more interesting? Here's something you do. You have a glowing red window.
Yep.
Which is because they're getting horny. Always my favorite thing in these kind of horror movies is people who get horny and they're just murdered for being horny.
Yeah.
And both of them are. She's a gold digger. He's a bullshit artist. Both of them are it's two not above board people having sex with each other. I don't know why they should have to go to hell for it.
I agree.
Whatever. And this guy shows up around here and is talking. I can't remember who he's talking to in this. I think it's him, right?
Yeah, I think so. Does he even talk with them? Doesn't he just come in and clean up the mess?
Oh no, wait. Actually, what happened? Okay, so I'm all right. I see what's happening. So this is getting set up, but then this is him talking to heroin guy.
Oh yes, he's dealing with heroin guy. Yeah.
So we know these other two people are having sex, but then he's got to deal with killing heroin guy. He's like, don't do it.
He even seems to give him one more chance to stop.
Yeah, he says, heroin guy says, but it's just one more hit, and this is really good shit.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
Do you want some? I will share it with you.
And nice guy.
Yeah, he's trying to be helpful. And then
it's a great shot.
Yeah, addict ghost. She's my favorite. The addict.
She's great. Yeah.
Great. Which we have there she is with you.
There she is. She needs a little bit of moisturizer, but she's doing all right.
She's very dry.
My skin looks fabulous there. God love.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jeez. Oh wow. Yeah. You glow.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks like she's dead.
No praise. Yeah.
I love her. She's definitely one of my favorite performers in this movie. People forget when you have ghosts, or zombies and shit. People take that for granted, and I think those are important performances, and I think they should get top billing type of stuff. When you're a featured zombie, you should be in the opening credits. So yeah, she comes in and basically sucks the life out of him, I guess.
It is the funniest death of the movie. It's funny.
Yeah, it's sort of Raiders-y, with the Nazis melting, or it's actually more like Last Crusade, where the guy drinks the wrong drink.
Do you have a still of what he turns into? It's not. It gets worse. It gets
worse. I only had enough, but I just this is
That's interesting that it's halfway in between. I've never seen it. at that.
Yeah, and I liked the halfway in between. I love the way he winds up, which is completely, ashen and hollowed out and dead.
What I remember from that watching it, the opening, when it first premiered in '08, one of my friends was there, Patrick Gallo,
Uh-huh.
and was he there or did he call me? Or regardless, so when he fully turns into whatever he turns into in the movie, he looks like a kind of a shrivelly old man.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Patrick goes to me. So apparently, when this ghost kills you, you turn into Henny Youngman. Something like that. Just cracked me up.
Take my wife,
Yeah.
please. Yeah,
Oh no,
absolutely.
or was it Jimmy Durante? That's what it was.
Oh.
Durante. I have to correct myself.
Jimmy Durante.
It's even funnier. Jimmy
That
Durante.
is funny.
The guy they picked to play him. Yeah.
The Frosty the Snowman narrator guy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Frosty.
Yeah. It's sad to see Cristo get killed.
Yeah. I got this still, which
Ooh,
I
that's
really
nice.
like. This is also could be like an album cover
Yeah.
for like a 90s band.
Totally. I guess I look like the drummer, I guess. I don't know.
You could be the drummer. No, I think Ronnie's the drummer. I think you're the bass.
Bass, yeah.
Yeah. And
Mick
then,
is definitely the lead singer for sure.
yeah, and probably lead guitarist. But you may be lead guitarist. I don't know. It's hard to say. I know it's a good band. That's the main thing I know.
We rock it out. And I think even every once in a while I swivel and then I play keyboards. I think it's some of that too.
You're a multitasking musician. That's awesome. What a great band. So there's a lot of this in between the death sequences. So we get this guy dies.
Yeah.
And then we see you guys wandering.
That's when we see all the very valuable treasure underneath the ship.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And I love shooting that moment. I could not wait to shoot that moment because I was.
That's a good. Like your look is pretty good in that.
I was imagining it being like, okay, this is going to happen right before they cut the commercial. It's going to be a really cool moment. We see all the treasure, and I remember thinking I didn't look amazed in time. Like I waited too long. I let it be too slow of a burn. I wanted to look like I feel like I should be like Nick right now.
You know I see.
Like
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but I stand by my choice. I played it real.
I think that was the right choice.
I took a moment.
I was involved in your guys' reaction. I was not distracted by anything, so that was well done. I like actually in this photo the eye lines because you and Nikolai are looking at the same thing, but Ronnie's seen something else.
Like, Ronnie probably sees like a special little trinket that he really wants to take home with him, a little tchotchke or something.
He sees a hooker. He seems hooker obsessed. I think that's what he's like. Oh, you guys are looking at like gold bullion, and he's looking at a hooker. Yeah. So, and while you guys are doing that, these two are trying to. They're figuring.
Look at his beautiful hair, man. He's
oh
so
my god, it's amazing. They both have beautiful hair, and their hairs match. They match.
Yeah.
And they're figuring stuff out about what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's one of the sort of problems of this movie is it gets a little convoluted about it. It's just a ship that's on the way to hell and you're learning your moral lesson. Yeah. But then they try to over explain it sometimes. And you're like, why are you trying to work? Stop it, Antonio Sabato Jr., calm down. But it doesn't matter because even though they're yapping about something there, this is happening.
That sells it overseas, baby.
Yeah. So they're the bullshit artist and the gold digger are having some sex. And then there's, look at this great animated shot of the ship.
Hey, pretty good.
That's great.
It looks good as a still.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, I get it now. Like when you watch these and they're animated, you're like, what were they thinking? But it's like, no, if you can animate that and make it look somewhat fluid and real, that's great. It's just they didn't have the budget to do it. Right. But the actual, I don't know what you call it, art direction or
it's cool.
Yeah, it looks great. So and then there's this lady while they're having sex and she's banging on the window and it's his ex-wife. That's what we find out about this douchebag is that he's a cheater and his wife is like, hey, god damn it, stop ignoring me. And then the glass breaks. And we get, it's both. I know you think other ones are the best, but this is, to me, the best and dumbest death. It's like, for one, he's just horny. I know he's like cheating on his wife,
yeah,
but he's just horny, and it's not cool to cheat on your wife. Maybe you should be, shamed on the internet. But this is not. You don't deserve this.
That's brutal.
It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. He was just horny. You got it. So, and then we have to move.
Yeah.
Like after that happens, then we're running out of characters. That's the thing about this movie. You're like, ah, shit, the heroin guy's dead, the smoker guy's dead, the horny people are dead. And now we've got our brothers and the Russian guy and then the two leads. So then there's you guys.
Yeah. That's when we see the fight, one of the ghosts, right? Throw the fireball at us or something.
Yeah, you see a ghost throw a fireball at you. Look at your face, PJ, and that's awesome.
I'm in it.
Yeah. That looks like a dude who's like, what the fuck?
Going on? Yeah.
Like, does not know what to do. That's some. And actually, Ronnie over here has got a good.
He's great.
Yeah, his O face is killer.
Yeah.
But your face is like different. Like I can do Ronnie's O face. I don't think I could do what you're doing. That's hardcore special.
All I see in this shot is, man, my hair was nice and dark.
Yeah. I looked at Devil in the Flesh too, and it's like, yeah, I'm overweight, but goddamn, I have all my hair. Looks good. And so
that's a good shot.
Yeah, there's the ghost accosting you guys.
Yep.
Was this the same person as the junkie ghost, or is it different?
It's the same one, I think. Yeah,
it's the same junkie ghost.
Slightly different makeup, I think, that day.
Ghosts get reused. Like there's like a horny ghost, other than the wife, who I think comes up later. I guess they just bounce around to whoever needs a ghost.
I think she was just considered the smoke ghost. I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. Smoke ghost, and then I forget what the other woman was called that dealt with the horny people.
Horny. Well, the horny ghost. Where's her? I have her because she shows up later.
She's apparently like a very famous model in Bulgaria. Yeah,
here's her.
Yeah, I feel like that shot. That's when they first making out and stuff, hanging out.
No, this is from later because she shows up in another scene.
Oh, okay.
I had to choose one or the other, so I chose the later one because it was a better shot.
Yeah,
but she looks like a 1990s porn star.
Yeah,
to me, and it's just interesting. All right, so the ghost is doing something weird here with something. I don't remember what that's about. Do you remember?
She's throwing a ball of smoke or fire at us.
Yeah, and then you guys go get the lifeboat.
Yeah,
right.
That's funny. We got to work.
I like this shot. Like you're in like you're knocking at death's door trying to survive, and I can't remember what happens, but like Ronnie hurts himself or something, and you laugh. But
probably in the moment.
Like, how good is that still? I mean, that's a great PJ shot.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Like I want to work with the guy who's gonna look at me and that's good stuff. But yeah, so then you're lowering the lifeboat.
Yeah, we're trying to escape. Yeah.
And it doesn't work out. It blows up. So you're not getting off the boat. And
it could be worse.
It could be worse. It could be raining, which is a great cliche joke. Just like if you have the rain machines, fucking do that joke. Yeah. It always works. So Ronnie says it could be worse. It could be raining. And then it immediately starts raining.
Yeah.
And I wish I had the clip. I don't, of course, but your look to him is priceless. It's just classic buddy comedy, it's great stuff. So you're stuck in the rain, and then the other two, Antonio Sabato Jr. And what's the lady's name?
Her real name is Deanna Russo.
Deanna Russo.
Serena is her character name. Yeah.
I love Russo. She's great. So
Yeah.
here they're like they found a volume of books that's
Yep.
going to explain everything to them. But that while they're reading, Jesus Christ, man. Like,
That was so much fun to shoot. We had to really light that room on fire.
so okay, so
That was almost dying number 3.
So so in this photo, obviously the ring is a digital edition,
Correct.
but the fire at the bottom of the frame there is real.
They show me lighting it, and that's really me lighting the room on fire. So it was not a big room. It was a small room. The way it looks in the movie is how small it was. But they literally doused it in gasoline.
Oh my God.
Or whatever they use. I mean, something flammable. And they were like, okay, they told me about it. You know, they had a coordinator or whatever there. But, you know, you're in Bulgaria. It's a $2 million budget. They did, you know, they did.
Yeah.
It didn't have, you know, it wasn't like working on a $50 million movie. So they literally were like, okay. The thing about that moment is I was supposed to light it. And then we had to step back and deliver 2 lines.
Right, of course.
Which seems fast. And it is fast.
Yeah.
When the entire room goes up and then you have to say your line, do you know how hot that gets?
Yeah.
If you ever stand next to a grill, it's pretty hot, and that's a small grill. The entire room is on fire.
I think everybody, and that sounds very dangerous. And,
Very dangerous.
And I think regardless of budget, I know I've been in dangerous situations that I shouldn't have been in retrospect.
Yeah.
And that crosses the spectrum of budgets. I think you can work on studio shit and wind up being like, I should not have done that. That was too dangerous.
Yeah. Pain is temporary, film is forever. So there you go.
Yeah. It's like everybody's willing to sacrifice a lot to get these death sequences.
Yeah. James is so good in his death scene. He was. I remember thinking that day, wow, he's really going for it. Like he was really great in that scene.
Yeah, he's really good, and it melds well with the bad effects. Actually,
yeah, it does. It looks good. Yeah,
it's actually cool. I mean, you know, but so is he really on fire in this photo?
They did in fact light his leg on fire briefly. They did.
So that's a real practical effect.
If I recall correctly, they lit it very quick. They put a thing on his leg, you know, to cover it. And they lit it only for like, you know, it didn't bother him at all. He did it. I think he did 2 takes, 1 or 2 takes.
It looks like
it looks great,
like a leg on fire. Yeah,
it definitely looks lit like it, and then they immediately, you know, extinguished it after he did his.
Yeah, and then they marry in the movie itself. They marry it with CGI effects that end up with this.
But the guy really lit himself on fire and had to walk around fully enveloped in flames until they extinguished.
Right. Do we have? I feel like we have some behind the scenes. Oh no! It's your death scene that we have that. All right, we'll get there.
But let's just talk about first of all how ridiculous it is that they made my character to get through the door light the iron door on fire. Like how is going to go through iron? I always thought that was kind of even before that they had me banging on it with a very light prop, and I had to make it look heavy, and I don't do a good job, honestly.
And then this happens.
Oh yeah, that's later, right?
It's after Ronnie, your partner in crime.
That's after I die, though. That's Nikolai does that after I die, right?
No, this happens in between.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, Nikolai dies after Ronnie dies.
Okay.
And then Nikolai dies.
And then I'm running away from the ghost.
Like very quickly and without much. It's just like now we're knocking off everybody at this point in the movie. So we see him fall back into a pipe and you're like, holy shit. I was really invested in that character, and now he's dead for no reason.
But also, when that happens to Nikolai, haven't the other 2, Antonio, and Deanna, haven't they already jumped in the ocean and drowned almost?
Yes.
Because for a very brief moment in time, I'm very excited about this now. For a very brief moment in time, it appears as though I am the final girl.
Yes.
Right? It looks like I'm the last one alive.
They discover in that, and I'm sorry I don't have all the photos. Again, I can only upload so many. But yeah, I
remember reading the script being like, oh my God, I'm the last one.
So in here, thereabouts, they discover And tell me the name of the boat. It's like the Necra canoe
I
or
don't
the
remember.
Necra. It was like
It's a funerary boat.
is funerary boat.
Funerary boat.
Yeah, that's what
there
it
is
was.
there is a technical name of it too. Yeah.
And that's why and it's possessed and they jumped off the ship. Yeah, that all happens.
Yeah.
But
Fast and
then
Furious.
we get to the good stuff.
Yeah, baby.
You're dying the way you killed that family that you won't take legal responsibility for killing.
My almost dying take two of this when I do my
So,
stunts.
and there's a
There it is.
here. This is a stunt that you actually did.
I did this stunt. I landed on boxes. It was so exciting.
So, like, are you standing up on this?
I'm on that bridge. It's pretty high. It's like 10 feet high.
Uh-huh.
They put all boxes, like, basically cardboard boxes to break my fall, like 2 or 3 levels of cardboard boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the Bulgarian stunt guy show me first. They said, he's like, I'm going to do it so you see how it's done and how safe it is. But still, I'm thinking it's still a dangerous stunt,
Yeah, of course.
I'm flipping through the thing and landing on my back. I mean, if I don't land right, if I hit the cement, I'm dead.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And cardboard boxes, however many layers, doesn't sound great.
it wasn't even a mattress. It was cardboard boxes. So, but I'm excited because I never get to do stunts like this. It was awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
But I hadn't at the time. This is December of 2006, and I had my camera did video back then, but it wasn't like the nice cameras now. It was like an old crappy one, but it did take video. And I told the AD, one of the second ADs, I said, can you tape it for me so if I die, we have it on tape. So I have it I have the video on my old camera somewhere.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I would like to see that.
I'll
Why
show
don't
you.
you give me that? God damn it.
I have to find the camera and I have to figure out how to transfer it from the camera onto my computer. I haven't done that.
Oh, I see.
But last time I checked, it was still there. It has all the pictures and all the
I want to see it. I want to see the
it's
raw.
fun. So they light the whole thing on fire first before I do my stunt.
Yeah, you were working with a fire bar in a lot of this.
Yeah,
right?
they light all the bars on fire. I had to wait until the fire went up and then give it like a 3 beat and then do my stunt.
Yeah. And then you land in the water.
Yep.
And the water's on fire. But what you told me about this that I thought was interesting was this. Now people can see that's actually so you went from that and you were just selling that you're deep underwater.
They even wanted to get a shot of my eyes underwater. Because they gave me the really great the white prosthetic eyes. I think you have that picture, right?
Yes, somewhere.
It became the thumbnail.
Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't upload it because I was using it in the promos. I had so many pictures. I had to pick which ones.
So what happened was we were supposed to shoot that in a big pool, a big Olympic pool. They shot all of Antonio Sabato and Deanna's stuff in the Olympic pool, which was still difficult, but they were able to go deep down and get nice shots of them underneath the water. So with me, they didn't have the pool location for some reason. It wasn't ready yet. So they brought in this little baby pool and I had to look like I'm drowning and I didn't have enough space to drown because it was look, you could see how low it is.
Yeah.
It's like what, like 3 feet? Not even 2.5 feet.
2 feet. Yeah.
So every time I tried to get below for them to get the shot of my face, I couldn't get low enough to, you know what I mean? It was just weird. But it looks great in the final movie. It looks great the way
it does. You wouldn't know that you're in
the other thing was the water was so dirty too, and I was like, oh, it was disgusting. It was just like brackish water that they put in there. It wasn't like the chlorine pool,
Yeah, and then we have a couple shots of you with the effect.
That was after I got the burns. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the behind the scenes with the eyes.
Right, those are the eyes, and I couldn't see out of those. I couldn't see, so they had to help me out every take.
It was just contacts, like
they were white, thick contact lenses. Yeah, but like they cover your whole eyeball, not just your pupils.
So you're like literally working blind.
Blind, yeah, absolutely blind. Yeah. but it was beautiful. It was awesome, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what
In
we
every
all
take, they would
aspire
help me, and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and
Um,
if you go back to that picture of the three of us,
yeah.
if you don't mind, the guy on the right is Toshka Chapkinov, and he was the AD. But because he was Bulgarian, he spoke to all the crew. All the crew was Bulgarian. So the
Uh-huh.
director had to basically go through Toshka to talk to the crew. So
Nice.
Toshka basically, he was like our savior. He was the best.
He
He would tell everybody what the director wanted, but he was just this like extremely exuberant, uh, passionate, lovable Bulgarian guy. And I still am trying to. I have a script I'm trying to produce right now, and I want him to direct it because I love.
Oh,
He's been
wow.
directing now lots of. He directs now.
Oh,
Uh,
that's
so
cool.
yeah, and I remember him telling me at my death scene, this is, and I think that's in the story I showed you, the memoir thing. But he would say, okay, so you come through, you run here, you see fire, boom, 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 you jump and you drown. Like, but the way he would explain all the actions was so simple but so beautiful, you know. And he does like every movie that comes through Bulgaria. So if you look him up, if you look at his IMDb, he's the AD on
It's
Ghostbusters.
like thousands of credits.
Does
Yeah.
every movie, and now he's directing. But yeah, but like it's amazing how busy those guys are, how much they shoot there. It's amazing. It's great.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
So you're killed by fire, which you
yeah.
deserve.
The fire goes. Yeah,
And for me personally, the movie ends here, but then
yeah.
it keeps going for a while.
It goes on
Um,
for a while. It does.
I'm just gonna run us through the rest of the narrative really fast. If there's anything you have, because you weren't really involved in any of this stuff. So
Yeah, after I die, I'm fighting my way to get back to Boston, to LA, to go to Boston for Christmas break.
so you can go to Christmas. Yeah.
We almost didn't get out because it was snowing,
Uh,
and I knew I was leaving like 2 days before Christmas or whatever, and I had to make Christmas. I had to leave then, and we almost got off the plane in Bulgaria and drove to Greece to make a different flight. But at the last minute, they said we're going to go for it, and I was like, "Oh God, please let us let's not crash."
Jesus
And
Christ.
it was like Indiana. It was like the Millennium Falcon leaving that cave. That's how I felt leaving Bulgaria. Getting out of the snow just before
Yeah,
Christmas.
that sounds like Society of the Snow material.
Yeah. I haven't seen that, but I know what it is, obviously.
Yeah. Well, and we had Alive. Alive was our generation.
Yeah. And do you know Christian, who was in that? Christian Mioli?
Probably.
He runs the what is it called? The little independent theater in Hollywood. It's like a little 100-seat theater. It's a beautiful theater. What's it called? Oh my God, Christian, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of it.
Cine Family?
Something like that. Cine something.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm forgetting it. But it's a great place to have a screening. And he makes his own popcorn. He has a special gourmet popcorn. It's amazing. But long story short, Christian Mioli is in Alive. And
okay.
I met him at, I think, a commercial audition. We're in the same category. We go up for some of the same parts. And I remember being so happy to meet him. I said, Christian, you touched me so much in that role, because he has a really amazing moment before he dies in Alive, where he gives a speech and he says, "I will come back in this day."
Yeah. I remember that.
And I remember going, like, he so moved me, and that's what I love about acting. You can do a performance and you can really touch someone, and he did in that movie.
That's true. That is a nice thing.
Yeah.
So
anyways, yes, that was we digressed.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to run us through the end of the movie really fast
Mhm.
because PJ's character's dead, so who cares?
I'm dead.
Antonio Sabato Jr.
That's
is with
Serena.
Diana. Yeah, and there's the death canoe or whatever it's called,
the funerary boat,
and then she gets whisked away to a fantasy world where she's talking to her dad, and her big sin is she didn't call her dad when he was dying.
She was selfish. Yeah, she only cared about herself.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, of all the things, I mean, look, you should call your parents and tell them you love them if you do. But also, there's so much I don't know about her dad. I don't know why she didn't call her dad while he was dying. What did her dad do? I
She
don't
makes
know.
Bulgarian man.
Yeah, I don't know. In any event, she didn't call him, and that's her great sin. It's like, it's like murder, like setting families on fire in an apartment building versus not calling your dad. I don't know why she's on this boat. But that happens, and then while it's happening, the lady who showed up to kill the sex people shows back up.
What is she? What? I don't remember her showing up again. When did she show up again?
She shows up again, like with the boat.
She
The
does. I forgot.
the
I just watched it, but I forgot that
yeah,
moment.
the funerary boat. She shows up while, like, right after this fantasy
I
happens.
may have fast forward a little bit after I died.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then I think a lot of people probably do. And
TJ
so
fans. Yeah.
then they decide to use the funerary boat
They
to
try to take it, to lift it with the help of Nikolai. They try to lift it up out of the ship and onto the water.
right,
Yeah.
and then they are
Cool.
attacked by the fire that killed you, I guess.
Yep, the same fire ghost. Yeah, and he's trying to fire extinguish it away.
Yeah, and then there's
Nice.
lightning on the water
That's
near
where
the
hell
ship.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where hell is. That's where the ship is going. And then there's hell sea monsters that circle the boat. This
There's
is one
one
of my
shot.
favorites. This shot is great. I
You
love
know
it.
what? There is one shot of the animal, the sea monster first crossing frame.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that was a great shot. It was
Yeah, just the one where his arms are out.
and
Yeah,
it's
that's
the first time you see it. And it's very it's a
yeah.
genuine jump scare.
I wanted to that I had that, but I had to choose between these two, and I like this one
That's a
because
great shot.
it has the circling
The boat. Yeah.
monsters thing, which I like. Yeah, I love shit like this. The
Yeah.
only problem with this is it's like you don't get an onslaught of hell sea monsters. Is that what they are? Hell sea monsters. They don't like really attack the boat all that much. So it's
Right.
it's just
They're
like
they're not that persistent. Yeah.
it's a cool shot that does not amount to anything.
Doesn't pay off. Yeah.
And so so there's
Nick going for it. Yeah.
Nick's getting killed, and then
They have spikes on. Yeah, they have like weird spikes on their backs. The sea monsters.
and they're
That's a great shot.
Crazy sea
Nick
monsters.
looks like kind of like a cartoonish there, but it's kind of cool.
They are cartoonish, and that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
if your creature design is delightful, then I don't care how bad the rendering is.
Right.
So I would say these are fun sea monsters,
Yeah.
in my personal opinion. And then
There you go.
Yeah, they're pulling down the necromancy boat
Mm-hmm.
into hell, and then once that's happened, this guy.
The steward, Carrie.
The steward checks his book. I'm having some kind of weird delay thing right now.
No.
So he's checking his book. He's marking off everybody who's been sent to hell.
Yep, processed. Yep.
And the people who are getting a second chance. And then, with very little fanfare, our two romantic leads are in reality again.
I really like Antonio Sabato's backstory too, because they cast a great actor that looked a lot like him. Did you see if you noticed that, like they show him as like an 18-year-old kid or something, leaving his friend to die in the burning car.
Right.
And the kid they cast was like so great. Like he looked just like Sabato.
Mm-hmm.
So then now they both sacrificed themselves because he went after her in the boat. He left the boat to go to save her.
Right. They're both being
They both got
unselfish.
Yes.
So they both, and that's what he's checking the things, and he's sending them on to, to a second chance.
Yeah.
At Earth, and they don't know each other when they run into each other in front of this painting that they're both drawn to. I think she works there, and he's drawn to it from the street, and they're like, "You seem familiar," and they're like, "I don't know." It's so like non-committal as an ending. I maybe I remember. I don't know. I don't. It's a classic horror thing.
The The little tag.
especially when you're dealing with morality horror.
Yeah.
That like characters wake up and they're like, "What happened? It didn't happen." It's like waking up from a dream, which is a cheap trick, but whatever. It's fine. They're probably gonna fall in love,
Probably, as rightly they should. I mean, they're gonna make beautiful kids.
and they'll have yeah, they'll have sex, and it'll be fine,
Have little Guidos.
and the little Guidos around. So let's wrap up our discussion of Ghost Voyage. For me, I'll just say what my final thoughts are. This is a delightful sci-fi channel movie. If you see it, I mean, you can get it on demand if you have the right services at this point.
On Sci-Fi Demand, on demand, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and
That's fun.
NBC on demand, and it's on a bunch of places. Some of which have commercials, some of which don't. It depends on what you use, and what you have access to. But it's very like, and again, I would imagine, as an audience, the visual elements of the movie could become tedious because a lot of it is in hallways.
Yes.
But if you are the kind of movie viewer I am, you as a viewer can rise above the budget of the film and enjoy the interplay of the actors, because this is an engaged cast, which is not always what you get on
True.
Sci-Fi Channel movies. I don't know if you've ever seen one with John Schneider. But like, often actors aren't engaged. You can tell that, like, especially like I want to give it up for Antonio Sabato Jr. in this movie, because he wasn't phoning it in. He was enjoying it. I know
he loved the fact that he was a mechanic of race cars, because that's one of his passions. His dad was a race car driver, so I think they may have even added more stuff about that for his character, because once they cast him,
right.
And he was always saying, "Hey, can I add something here? Can I throw in this about the cars?" And he loved that stuff. So yeah, he's very engaged, and he did a great job.
He is super engaged, and I mean that's so important, because these Sci-Fi Channel movies, when they get these stars of various levels, sometimes they don't want to do it.
Right.
And you can see it, and it's weird. Like, as an actor like me, it's always weird to see an actor who's phoning it in like that on a low budget horror movie, because I'm like, this, like, you're existing in a place that I would like to be, and you seem completely miserable. And like, why? You're fucking getting paid to be in this crazy thing. So just
everything's relative. Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts? What would you like to say about this movie?
I think it's a fun movie. I mean, if you want to just sit back for a couple hours and watch a very, it's very breezy. It's not. You don't have to break
and
it
it's
down.
not a couple hours. I mean,
Yeah,
it's only a couple hours
commercials.
with commercials. Yeah.
Right.
It's a 90-minute movie. It's
it's
in and out, and it clips along at a nice pace. Like I said before, with the kind of episodic elements of like learning what these characters did wrong, and then watching them die by their own,
Yeah, it's a fun, simple story. People on their way to hell, getting tested. Most of them fail, and they get sent into hell.
Yeah, and that's a satisfying thing for any horror fan. If you're watching a horror movie, you want to see a lot of people get sent to hell. That's why you're watching it.
And and mainly the performances. It's a fun group of people, fun group of actors.
Very engaged. Yeah, again, I mean, I think that makes all the difference. I think my favorite a Sci-Fi Channel movie that has ever been is Big Ass Spider.
Oh yeah, that's what's his name? He's I know the
Lombardo Boyar and Greg Grunberg.
Yeah.
And
it's Mike Mendez, right? Mike Mendez wrote
Mendez.
that.
Yeah.
I think did he edit this, or he edited one of my movies back then? I think it was
Oh, really?
He's a really good editor too. Yeah, but he's a really great filmmaker. Yeah,
he is a great filmmaker, and he's dedicated, and he still works a day job, which is just unfathomable to me. I mean, he just likes to make movies, so he does it when he can. He's great, and Claire Kramer, of course, is in it. And,
she's been in lots of
and Ray, I'm blanking on his last name. Ray, He was in the
It's been so
second
long
Cheap
since I've seen it.
Free. Damn it.
My friend
Anyway,
Bob, is in it, I think. My friend Bob Bledsoe, I think, has a small part, but a nice supporting role.
I believe it. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're a shitty movie person and you don't mind a sci-fi channel movie that's fun, this is a great one, I would say.
You attached the trailer. You found the trailer somewhere, like, and it's
it's on YouTube. It's
like a Spanish language. Somebody Spanish.
It's a Spanish, and
but
there's
I love reading the comments because I hadn't seen that trailer on YouTube, and so many people wrote in how much they love the movie. There's always people that say they hate it, but I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. Like, so many people wrote, this is fun. I loved it.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, we're like, I had total fun. Well, I mean, it's like if you get into a movie like this, there's a lot you're gonna forgive. That's all I'm saying. And I'm all about big budget effects don't work on me. It's like
it's about the characters.
Yeah, it's about the characters and the ingenuity of creature design and all that stuff. Even if the effects themselves, they don't have enough money to really render it.
Mm-hmm.
I can enjoy spiky sea monsters from hell. I mean, that's all you like. Ghost Voyage, that's what you tune in for. It's like monsters from hell. So is there anything else you want? Any behind the scenes stuff?
I think I didn't mention, like, the first time I almost died. It wasn't, I'm being a little dramatic, but the first time was one time I went to lean on one of the poles, and some of the poles were very firm metal, but some were plastic, completely light plastic.
But they were made to look just like the real ones.
Correct. So at one point I leaned on one that was plastic and I thought it was real, and I leaned and fell and hit my head, and I was genuinely dazed. I thought I had a concussion. That was one time. The second time was running away from the smoke ghost when she throws the ball and we go running down the scaffolding.
Yeah.
At the end, there's a wall with a ladder, and I thought that I didn't think there was actually a drop. Like, there was, how, like, when you see stairs in a sitcom, they don't lead to anything.
Right.
I thought this ladder did not lead to anything. I thought it was all ground. But when I got to the end by the ladder, there was actually an opening where you can climb down.
Oh.
And I didn't know. So I literally ran a little too far before they yelled cut. And I had on, like, just worker boots. They weren't, like, no support. When you get shoes on a shoot, you know this. A lot of times you get no support in the soles. They're like just shoes that have been used 50 times by actors. So I literally ran towards the and fell, like, a solid, I don't know, 6 feet, 5 feet, something. It was really, whatever it was. But with the adrenaline I had, I landed on my feet and I did not break my ankles. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, PG, are you okay?" I was like, "I'm okay." Like that classic.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I did the adrenaline. I did not get hurt. It was like, I think I had angels, catching.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then that was the official number 2. And then the number 3 was the stunt. I thought maybe I might die, but the stunt genuinely was kind of scary. But
all that stuff seems scary, and fire seems scary.
But it was just and the lighting the fire. I mean, there were more than 3. The lighting the fire, and there were so many things. But
I think we watch these things in movies so often.
You take it for granted.
And TV, you take the violence for granted, and then when you're actually presented with it, you're like, even though it's pretend, you're still like, oh shit, this is dangerous.
Yeah,
I feel that heat on my face.
Yeah, the fire was real though. No pretend.
That's what I'm saying. Working with fire bars. I worked with a fire bar once, and it was scary.
The other thing about that shoot was they constantly had the smoke going, to make everything look smoky for camera. And I guess the smoke machines were, like, not the best smoke machines, because the smoke was really, like, we all got sinus infections. Like, I came back and I had such a bad, I thought it was just going to clear up, but eventually I had to go and get antibiotics to clear up but it was from that darn smoke machine,
I just assume if I'm ever called to Bulgaria to make any kind of movie, I will come home with a sinus infection. I don't know how you don't.
I want to go back, man. I really am dying to go back and shoot something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the thing I'm trying to get done with Toshka, the AD, who I want to direct this new movie, this script of mine. We're trying to do it in Prague, actually. But I'll do Bulgaria. You get a lot for your money. They had great little restaurants, and they had a pizza place called Udo Pizza, UTO. I remember the name of it, Udo. And we ate there a bunch. They had great pizza. Shout out to Udo Pizza. And the big salad all across Sofia at the time I was there, I'm assuming it's still, I don't know, was called the Shopska salad. It was delicious. It was like a romaine with like a goat cheese, a shredded goat cheese with cucumbers and a special dressing. It was so good. And
Holy
I got that
shit.
email. But before I went, I talked to my friend Serena Vincent, who a lot of your viewers might know. She's been in lots of movies. She had shot there before that. And she said, make sure you get a Shopska. When you go, get a Shopska for me, because the Shopska salad is like the thing that everybody gets. So some good memories.
So it was good. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. I'm going to bring us into our ending segment, starting with the classic Be Bad or Be Best. And I will present to you, PJ, a movie title. And you tell me if it's so bad no one should watch it, or it's so bad everyone should watch it. I like to pick things that relate to the movie that we talk about in the main discussion. So I tried to find ghost movies for this. So Be Bad or Be Best.
Okay. Oh,
Ghost Dad, starring Bill Cosby, who's been released from prison on a technicality. Directed by one Sidney Poitier.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I love Sidney Poitier. And I love Bill Cosby movies from the 70s. Like Hickey and Boggs and shit like that. I like them.
He's great.
He was so fun in those things. But he's also like, if you watch Hickey and Boggs, there's times where you're like, oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
That creeps me out.
I've never seen that one. I vaguely have heard of it, but
yeah, him and Robert Culp. It's it's fun, kind of. I mean, I think it's rated PG, but it's still gritty,
80s PG, which can be rough.
70s PG, but
70s.
yeah. It can be rough. It can be. So Ghost Dad, Be Bad or Be Best?
Can I pass?
No, you cannot pass. You have to say if it's so bad. I mean, I can tell you.
Sidney Poitier, Be Best.
Mm-hmm.
Sidney Poitier.
It's you give him the Poitier. Yeah.
And Cosby was very talented. He is very talented, but I've never seen it. I'm curious to see it. I would watch it.
It's not. It's so bland is the best way to describe Ghost Dad. And the only interesting thing about it anymore is that it's Bill Cosby being charming and great with kids, which I know he wasn't on either level. But it's bad. But it's like, I think what's bad about it is it's just such ultra corporate family entertainment.
Okay.
And the way they brought the talents together, Poitier and Cosby had a relationship for a long time. So it made sense that, the studio wants to do this movie about Bill Cosby being a ghost. And Cosby's like, come on, Sidney, help me out. Like, all right, Bill. So it's not. I mean, for me, it's a Be Bad because it never reaches so bad it's awesome, and it's never good. So it's
you've seen it. I haven't seen it, so it was more curiosity.
Yeah. I own it in a DVD set with For Richer or Poorer, which is worse, and Pure Luck and King Ralph are the 4 movies.
King Ralph was fun. I think I saw it a long time ago.
King Ralph is fun.
Good, right?
And Pure Luck is, I think, very underrated.
What's Pure Luck? I don't. Which one is that?
It's a movie with Martin Short and Danny Glover.
Oh wow.
And Danny Glover is, working on a murder case as a detective, police detective, and he gets assigned to this sort of witness guy, played by Martin Short, who, like, his thing is that he's got the worst luck of anybody on the planet. It's just horrible. And for some reason, the cops decide that if Danny Glover hangs out with Martin Short, he will stumble upon the trouble just out of bad luck. Which is, it's so dumb. It's such a dumb high concept. And for me, like, the movie's not great, but the bits within the movie work really well.
I mean,
There's one in particular when they're sitting down at a diner together. Here we go. Jeff Lou says Pure Luck is hilarious. It's one of my dad's favorite. It is one of your dad's favorite movies. In this scene, Danny Glover, like, puts 2 salt shakers in front of Martin Short while he's not looking, and he unscrews one cap to see if he'll pick the one that's going to dump salt all over his food,
right?
Or if and Martin Short goes, once he's but not distracted anymore, he goes and he picks up the one that's screwed on tight, and Danny Glover's like, yeah, it's fucking bullshit. And then right as he's about to, like, sprinkle it on his breakfast, a person behind him goes, oh, we don't have a salt shaker. Do you guys have any salt? And Martin Short just gives him the good salt, and then takes his salt, the unscrewed one, dumps it all over his breakfast. But what's great is Martin Short's reaction is nil. This happens so often that he just immediately picks up a knife and starts scraping the salt off his
That's
neck.
funny. Yeah, that's funny.
It's really funny. It's so dumb. I like, comedy when it's like leans into its dumb, totally works for me.
Yeah.
So Pure Luck is a B best. A B best, but Ghost Dad is a B bad. We've established that this is shit. It should not be let out of jail. All right, and my next one is, the next end segment is the boost. And this is where the hosts, which is just one, which is me, talk about a movie they think maybe people have forgotten about, overlooked, or just didn't notice at the beginning. And this is weird because I'm going with ghost stuff. I went with The Grudge, and this is the newest Grudge.
Okay.
The latest Grudge, and it's got John Cho in it. And
awesome.
I'll be perfectly honest, the first Grudge did not work for me. And Ju-on, the original a movie that the American one was based on, I also was like, I don't know why, but this one worked. And maybe it's just in the telling of the story. Maybe it's just the acting. I mean, there's good acting in the other ones too. I mean, the first Grudge, it's Bill Pullman and Sarah Michelle Gellar and all these people.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I was sort of like, not scary. This one scared the shit out of me. I have no idea why. Have you ever seen any of the Grudges?
I have not.
You don't do horror movies unless you're in them.
I don't do them much unless like they have something that I don't know. I once in a while I will, but yeah, mostly I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have that. Yeah.
You don't have that need to be scared.
Yeah, because I like I watched Walking Dead for so long, that kind of satiated all my darkness I needed to be fulfilled, to have inside my brain for a while. It was such a great show, but after a while we were like, I can't. It was, I think we got to like the second to last season, and we were just like, okay, it's so dark.
I'm the opposite with Walking Dead. Walking Dead did not scare me. I'm a zombie junkie. Movie zombies work for me. TV zombies don't. With the exception of the show Black Summer. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I don't know it.
It's a show that was on, I think it was on Sci-Fi actually.
I've never heard of it.
Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah, it was. There was a show called Z Nation.
I remember that one. I've heard of that one. Yeah.
So Black Summer was a spinoff
Oh,
of Z
okay.
Nation, and Z Nation didn't work for me in the same reason that Walking Dead didn't work for me. If you take the zombie thing and you spread it out over 20 episodes or whatever, it just dilutes what's scary about zombies. And what's scary about zombies is the math of it. They're constantly, it doesn't matter if they're slow or fast zombies, they're constantly reproducing and creating more horrible zombies that you can't get away from. So to stretch it into a TV show actually doesn't make sense to me mathematically. Like there shouldn't be, what are there, 11 seasons of The Walking Dead?
There were a lot. And there's so many spinoffs too now.
Yeah, there shouldn't. I just, zombies for me work better in short story form, which is to say cinematic form. Because
I hear you. It's a valid point.
But Black Summer, I would recommend if you like zombie TV, because it managed to do what all the other shows didn't do, which is has this clip of constant attacking. Like the characters don't get much time to rest. There's no time to build a town. Everybody's running from fucking zombies. So there's no time to build a new society. It's just people running. And that's what works for me about Black Summer and why I would recommend it. It's very good. A lot of it's directed by John Hyams, who's Peter Hyams' son. So okay. I'm normally not a huge Nepo Baby fan, but I would say between his work, this is going to sound weird, his work on the Universal Soldier franchise and Black Summer, I would say this guy's a really good action director.
Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, he should get more money. I would watch it. All right. Anyway, so okay, our very final last segment is called the Indie Effect. And this was invented by John Keating, friend of the show. And John. Yeah, John. Yeah. And it is, we're going to each pick, we invite our guests to participate. We're each, PJ and I are each going to pick a character in a movie who has absolutely no effect on the narrative itself. If the character was removed from the movie, the narrative would still progress in the same way it did. This is what a lot of people say about Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Nazis still got the Ark and opened it and their faces melted, and he had nothing to do with that. Right. And it's an interesting and fun point, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but that's what's awesome about Raiders of the Lost Ark that isn't as awesome about its sequels is he doesn't have a reason to be there except adventure.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll go first because PJ's got a really good one. My roads all lead back to Savage Steve Holland for me. In this case, a movie I boosted a bunch of weeks ago called How I Got Into College has the character of the mailman, played by the late great Taylor Negron, who I met. So I feel like it's okay if I can call him Taylor. He said, "Call me Taylor," so I'm going to keep calling him Taylor. I worked with his cousin, Sugar Free Bakery and Gift Emporium, and he was such a great guy, and sweet and funny and down to earth. I just miss Taylor Negron so much. But in How I Got Into College, he's in all the Savage Steve Holland movies, which, Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer, and How I Got Into College. He's in all of them. And Better Off Dead, he's also a mailman. Arguably a mailman, though, that delivers something at least to a subplot of the movie. So he's necessary in Better Off Dead. He's not necessary in One Crazy Summer either. He's just a douchebag gas station attendant who gets tortured by the girl with the weird dog. He's just there for jokes, which is great. This is not like, I'm not saying this was unnecessary and it's bad. I think it's great. But this, when he's the mailman and How I Got Into College, it has no bearing on the narrative whatsoever. He just exists to tell the funniest joke in the movie that you can't, like, it only exists well in the movie. If I explain to you, for one, nobody knows what Publishers Clearinghouse is anymore and the $10 million sweepstakes. But in the movie, the kid who's waiting to get into college is always running up to the mailbox. Did I get in? Did I get in? And Taylor Negron pulls his mail out of the box and says, congratulations. You may have already won $10 million. Which is the meanest fucking thing a mailman could do to a kid who's
that was such a funny bit back then.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's still funny now. I mean, it's just people don't get the reference.
Right.
I don't know, but you could exchange it with something.
I wonder, like, what my 9-year-old sons would think of that bit, like how they would respond to it.
Like what? Yeah, they just wouldn't get it. But I mean, they might laugh anyway because it's clear that he's being such a mean, douchey mailman. Yeah. They might just think that's funny.
It would be funny if they were like, "Oh, is that Ed McMahon?"
That would be weird. Then I would question things. So PJ has a character who had no effect on the narrative of a movie. Right. PJ, what is that character?
So you asked me this yesterday or the day before, and I could not think of anything because I'm
it's not necessarily an easy assignment.
And then for some reason, I just thought of the floating door in Titanic. Because all it did was stir up controversy. It wasn't.
It's a big door.
It's a very big door, but
I mean, look at it. There's plenty of room.
Look how big it is. It's so big. He totally could fit. But if the door had not existed, she probably still would have blown that whistle at some point, and he still would have died because he was, he wasn't.
She could have found another piece of something. There was no need for this door.
She would have held on to some other corpse or something, and he would have still drowned. So it was not needed. The door was not needed. I stand by that.
I agree. It wasn't needed. But we can't. James Cameron's going to get mad at us.
Oh Lord. Sorry, James.
So that was great. Thank you, PJ. I loved talking about Ghost Voyage. That is great. I loved
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, just behind the scenes stories about stuff like this just makes me so happy. All right, so
Devil in the Flesh too.
Devil in the Flesh too. Yeah, check it out. Captain Tsunami will be available sometime soon, so look for it, everybody.
You can follow us on Instagram.
Follow them on Instagram. Get on it.
It's brand new. It has like 3 followers or whatever. So jump in there.
Follow it on Instagram. Come on, help out.
Yes.
It's no big deal. We'll see you next week. I think Tracy's going to be back. So
yay, Tracy.
That'll be exciting to have Tracy back. So we'll see you next time on My Favorite Shitty Movie.